Good morning and welcome to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. I'm Shonda Knight, and Sheriff, we're talking about one of those topics today that we hear a lot of people in our community talk about, the detention facility and what happens, and I know that's a very important area for you.
Oh, absolutely. It is perhaps one of the most important areas we have. You know, we arrest people all the time, and obviously we want to make sure that our community is safe, and the best way to do that is to try to make sure those persons we arrest don't go back out in the community and re-offend and come right back to our detention facility. So we've been working on this for the last 8-9 years now, trying to make sure that we have a detention facility that focuses on trying to make sure we get those resources that are necessary to turn those lives around. And much of the persons we have in our institution are folks that suffer from mental health issues, and a lot of them, as we found in the status of men and boys, the research we did, that many of these kids come from broken homes, they don't have any opportunities to get educated and those kind of things. And so our detention facility has to kind of step into those gaps. And I'm excited about our discussion today about a detention facility so the people out there will know how they can help us as we try to deal with these crime issues in our community.
Yeah, it's very important, but there are a lot of nuances to that, you know, as you mentioned. And we have our ombudsman here today at the detention facility, and he's going to talk a little bit about what that looks like. But this is a position that you added a few years ago. Why was that important for you?
Well, you know, the fact is that we all are looking out for the citizens, and our deputies and our staff, we are doing our job. We need somebody in our detention facility who will advocate for and have an understanding of what those needs of the inmates are if we're actually going to be successful in getting them to come back to our communities better than when they came to us. And so the ombudsman role is one, to advocate for the inmates, to be that go-between between the health care providers we have in our community with our deputies, and then try to bridge the gap between them and connect those dots so that they can reach out to businesses in our community when there's a job issue that we have for an inmate. So that ombudsman role is crucial in the Leon County Sheriff's Office, and quite honestly, without the job that Andy does, we could not be successful in turning those lives around. And it's sort of a ministry too, and that's the other part of it. We like to think that we bring some level of community from a spiritual perspective into the detention facility, and Andy's able to do that.
He is indeed. Well, a lot to unpack, so you want to be sure to stick around. Coming up after the break, who makes up our inmate population, what challenges do they face, and how are we going about getting them the help they need? Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Deputy Sean Shepard with the Leon County Detention Facility. This is your Crime Tip Tuesday.
Scammers are impersonating Sheriff Walt McNeil and are calling people, demanding payment over the phone. This is not Sheriff McNeil or anyone from the Leon County Sheriff's Office. Do not become a victim of a scam call. Here are some tips to help you recognize and stop a scam. Law enforcement will not call you requiring payment for fines and fees. If they ask you to pay fees to avoid a warrant for your arrest, immediately hang up the phone. If the caller is aggressive and put an unrealistic time limit on you to pay via gift card, green dot card, or any other form of payment, hang up.
And that's your Crime Tip. Have a great day.
Hey everybody, it's gonna be just plain hot out there.
In 70-degree weather, it takes only minutes for the inside of your car to heat up like an oven. At 104 degrees, heat stroke begins, followed by loss of consciousness. Every year, almost 40 children die of heat stroke after being forgotten in a vehicle. A simple change in daily routine is often the cause. Look before you lock. Brought to you by Kids in Cars.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side.
Little everyday conversations about the dangers of underage drinking can make a big difference in a child's life. Talk, they hear you.
A 19-second conversation with a stranger online can put your child in danger of being exploited or abused.
Talking to kids about online safety can protect us for a lifetime. Don't wait. Talk to us today.
At the Florida Sheriff's Association, we are able to serve our sheriffs and Floridians thanks to our members' support. The FSA Member Perks program was created to give back to our members for all that they do. Members enjoy savings on restaurants, vacations, golf courses, car rentals, healthcare, movie tickets, theme parks, online shopping, and more. With over 300,000 offers, you'll always find ways to save. To learn more or to join the Florida Sheriff's Association, visit fsamemberperks.org.
Welcome back to Leon County Today. When people think of public safety, they often picture patrol cars and investigations. But some of the most important work happens inside the walls of the Leon County Detention Facility. Today I'm joined by our Ombudsman, Andy Dawson, who works every day to ensure that those housed in our facility are treated fairly and connected with help and resources they need. Andy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Andy, tell us, what is an ombudsman?
You know, when I wanted to come back to the sheriff's office after being a street cop for several decades, you said you wanted me to do this, and I had no idea what it was. It is my great privilege to serve in that capacity, and we've done some really great work over the last 2 years. Basically, I think of it as the definition advocate and liaison, which is exactly what I do, to advocate for our detainees that are in our care, make sure that nothing slips through the cracks, and that they have every bit of care that they need. We have seen tragedies before, and as you've said many times, any tragedy with our inmates is unacceptable.
Okay. Well, Andy, first of all, thank you for joining our team. But let's dig into that a little bit more in terms of the ombudsman. What kind of activities are you engaged in with the inmates in our detention facility, and what kind of outside resources are we bringing into our institution?
Daily, my office is in the middle of Unit 2, which is a high-risk confinement, and all of our mental health housing areas are there. Daily, I receive communications from inmates on the floor in the housing units, talking to these men and women to try to determine what best is needed, and communicating actively with our behavioral health care provider, and they are fantastic. Some cases we connect them with medical care provider as well, or chaplain services, or any of those things. We have lately been actively working with inmates that come to us that are homeless and have mental health struggles associated with that segment of our society. But we work actively, one person at a time, one issue at a time, one situation at a time, to help make sure these folks get the proper care and best chance to reenter society productively.
You know, Andy, it's so important what you do, but can you give us a picture of what the typical inmate is engaged in while incarcerated with us, and then what are the tools that we utilize to try to get that person in a better space? Can you talk about that?
Typically, the day of a standard general population inmate can be any number of things associating with other inmates in that housing unit, going to medical if they have a condition, seeing a behavioral health person if they're on that rotation, or getting access to those services, and going to group classes and to re-entry classes, and then mental health groups, any of those sorts of things.
Okay. You mentioned mental health. Talk about that for just a little bit.
Our behavioral health unit is arm of our medical contractor, a section of their services. They work actively with inmates that are at the most risk, inmates that are in confinement spaces who have the struggles that come along with the mental health struggles that come along with that, and they work proactively with groups and other things. I actually have had an opportunity lately to since I started, do a deep dive into every self-harm report, suicide attempt, or suicide case, to really deep dive into that so we can be proactive in how we care for those folks.
Well, Andy, talk for just about 30 seconds. What's been your greatest exposure right now?
My greatest opportunity has been to just work with inmates. Standard cops and detention guys don't really get an opportunity to get to know an inmate. Now they constantly work to manipulate, but the opportunity to get to know the real stories behind some of those that are in our care.
Well, hold that thought. When we come back, we'll talk about some of the initiatives in place to help those struggling with mental health and homelessness, and how we're working to make our community safe by supporting rehabilitation, not just for incarceration. Stay tuned.
In times of stress such as quarantine, what goes on behind closed doors can be terrifying, but you don't have to suffer in silence. Help is here. Love is not controlling, love is not frightening, and love is not violent. Love is respect. If you need assistance or just want to talk, we are here. In Florida, call the Domestic Abuse Hotline at 800-500-1119 to speak to someone in your area. Or for more information, email the Domestic Violence Coordinating Council at dvcctally@gmail.com.
Another teenager, victim to fake pills. That smells like big crime that needs to be stopped. Before buying pills online, think about this. Should buying prescription pills be this easy?
Yeah, bro, I'm picking up. Same guy. I bet. Got you 5.
Think these pills are tested and safe? Think they're the same ones you get from a doctor? You know they're not. Did you know that fake prescription pills may contain fentanyl? And an amount small enough to fit on the tip of a pencil can be lethal. Listen, before buying pills from social media, think again. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org and go for real.
An email from the post office? How do they even know my email address?
They don't. This is a bogus email sent by scammers that looks like it is coming from the Postal Service, or even the Postmaster General himself. The email contains fraudulent information about an attempted or intercepted package delivery, and provides a link to click on to find out when delivery is expected. But that click can activate a virus, which can steal personal information such as usernames, passwords, or financial account numbers stored on the computer or mobile devices. Here are some telltale signs that an email is bogus. It contains poor grammar or spelling errors. It states that immediate action must be taken or there'll be dire consequences. It requests personal information under the guise of reconfirming information. The Postal Service does not notify customers about package delivery attempts by email. If you receive such a message, don't open it. Instead, forward it to spam@uspis.gov and then delete the email.
Welcome back to Leon County Today. We're continuing our conversation with LCSO Ombudsman Andy Dawson about the important work being done inside a detention facility. Andy, earlier we talked about mental health of the inmates and a revolving door, you might say. Talk about that. How does that work and how does it impact the community?
We see significant successes with those that struggle with mental health outside the facility when they come to us. They're in a controlled environment, they get behavioral health services, diagnoses, or sometimes they have a diagnosis and aren't medicated. We get medication for them. They start to normalize and are productive. They go to classes. They're outgoing in their housing units and really positive influences. Then when they get out, that doesn't necessarily continue all the time. In fact, rarely. And then they reoffend, whether they're homeless or not, they reoffend and come back to us. With the homeless population, it's significantly different, though.
Well, talk about if there's an example of one individual or a group of individuals that we've had some interdictions with that were successful.
Yes, we have one frequent, it had been a frequent client of ours, we'll say, and I know him well. Aaron Tupper, one of your staff,
yes,
and I, we work together daily to care and help homeless population. This gentleman, he was arrested for a petty theft charge in the middle of flu season last year. He couldn't afford cold medicine, and so he stole a $5 bottle of NyQuil, and they pressed charges and put him in the facility. He has not reoffended since then. He has, in fact, we worked with the Appalachia, and he is housed now. He's on his medication. When he came to us, he had not had a shot. He had a one dose a month shot for his mental health, serious medication. We were able to work with Appalachia, get the medication brought to the facility. They were able to administer it so he could normalize. He was released, certain time served, is now being housed. Last time I talked to him a couple months ago, he had a job that he was working towards in the restaurant industry. We've had numerous homeless individuals that we've been able to reunite with families that in some cases had been several decades since they'd had a connection with their family. Yeah. So through different sheriff's office programs and community programs to actually care for people.
Andy, one of the things that's hugely important is that we're doing that inside of our institution. We're trying to work with the community. Talk about what's the relationship with the staff there at our detention facility, both on the correction side and on law enforcement.
That is a unique discovery that I made. I connect with our homeless outreach street team every week, several times. Work actively with several of the deputies. Deputy Cook and I worked with an inmate directly for about 22 hours before he was to be released to get him help. They had arranged, I had our medical provider prescribe his medication. They get 90 days of medication after they leave. She went and picked it up, was going to help him get his ID. He was going to a Living Harvest reentry program. He was homeless, had been for many years, worked as a mechanic, and actively worked with this gentleman, with Ms. Tupper, and to get him connected with the ministry on the outside.
Andy, in about 40 seconds or so, what, of all the things you do, what gives you the greatest reward for doing this job?
Seeing our staff members getting recognized for the faithful, heroic work they do in the facility every day. There are, and we've talked about this at length, heroes in detention and on the street, but in detention that are saving lives, preventing tragedies every week, several times a week in some cases. Just really heroic things. And the truth is always stranger than fiction, right?
It is, absolutely. Well, Andy, thank you for what you do and for sharing those insights. Today, just ahead on our Deputy on Duty, we spend a day with LCSO Homeless Unit. Stay tuned.
I'm a firefighter.
A teacher.
I'm a farmer. I'm a barber.
A waitress.
A mom.
We're all part of your community. Every day we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good,
others not so much.
But that's life. It's when you experience a moment of uncertainty. Something or someone's behavior that doesn't seem quite right.
These are the moments to take a pause.
Because if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not.
It's not about paranoia
or being afraid.
It's about standing up and protecting our communities.
One detail at a time.
Because a lot of little details can become a pattern.
We
trust our instincts.
Just like you should.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Domestic violence knows no faith.
1 in 4 women experiences abuse in their relationship.
So most likely, there are victims of abuse in your congregation.
Don't think it doesn't happen in your church.
Or synagogue.
Or mosque.
Because it does.
It does.
It does.
Learn the signs of abuse.
And how to help victims.
Know the many resources available in our community.
End the silence on domestic violence.
Contact the Domestic Violence Coordinating Council or the Refuge House Hotline.
On this episode of Deputy on Duty, deputies are on Highway 20, focusing on safety and community concerns.
So we are on Highway 20 in West Leon County, and the main goal that we've had this week is our patrol and traffic unit have been, running traffic, speeding violations, and there's been a couple fatalities out here And then the host unit's been out here to, work with our unsheltered population, see if we can give them services. And we've been checking like some abandoned properties and stuff like that, just to, and it's been driven by some citizens' complaints.
In addition to traffic enforcement, the Homeless Outreach Street Team is actively engaging with individuals in need of services, while also addressing concerns regarding abandoned properties.
We had some citizen complaints, and then we've had a couple traffic fatalities, so with speeds and stuff like that, and they wanted us to come out here for this week and just see if we can make contact with anybody, and obviously you have patrol and traffic, trying to crack down on the speeding and things like that.
With this proactive strategy, LCSO is addressing trends before they escalate into more significant issues.
We've done several operations, and we do them periodically. I think in the last couple of years we did have Operation Alliance on Pensacola Street, and that was kind of a similar deal. We had multi-different, you had patrol, and I think it's some traffic and homeless outreach that was kind of in that area. So yeah, we do these periodically in different areas.
Citizens' feedback play a vital role. Those calls and tips directly support LCSO patrol and community outreach initiatives.
We try as an agency to hit things proactively. When we see them, we're out driving. Obviously, we answer calls for service, but a lot of the information we get and feedback we get is from the citizens, especially in our unit, Homeless Outreach Unit. A lot of the things that and places that we know or that we need to go check on are driven by citizen complaints.
Collaboration across units is crucial for deputies to be able to handle a variety of challenges and accomplish goals.
If patrol gets out with one of our clients, they can call us and we'll be right there. We've been backing up patrol. Patrol and traffic have both been running, radar, doing traffic enforcement out here. One of our patrol deputies actually this morning got out with one of our clients and she wanted to talk to us, so one of the host deputies was right down the road, so he was able to just go talk to her. So, that collaboration between the both, that we can all kind of back each other up, and then we can work our respective operations or, kind of our goals or what we're trying to get to.
This work takes patience and persistence, but one success can make a lasting impact.
I can tell you from being in this unit for the last 3 years, it is very rewarding when you get an individual that finally says, yes, I want the help, and we change their situation. They're moved into a house, or they go to treatment, or whatever that is, in the services they need. It is very rewarding because you feel like you've made an accomplishment. And then that only may be one person for, in a couple months that you get, but as I always say is, hey, at least we got one.
If you're ready to make a difference in your community, apply for a job today at leoncountyso.com. For Leon County Today, I'm Giovanni Hampton.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side. By your side. And every day is a different day. Everything is in everything. Even when you think things can never ever be the same. Don't be scared of the world, I'll be here to stay. By your side. Even when your heart ain't listening, or your mind takes you a different way, towards a different path. All you gotta do is sit and ask. When you need me, I'll be by your side.
When the adults in a child's life talk early and often about the dangers of underage drinking, the message gets stronger every time.
I'll be by your side.
Talk. They hear you.
A 19-second conversation with a stranger online can put your child in danger of being exploited or abused.
Talking to kids about online safety can protect us for a lifetime. Don't wait. Talk to us today.
You are here, helping us give everyone the chance to live a longer, healthier life, free from breast cancer. You are survivors. You are thrivers and supporters. You are the heartbeat of the #1 breast cancer movement in the country. You are making strides against breast cancer. Together, we are the hope, the movement, the future. Join us.
Download the Leon County Sheriff's Office mobile app right now. Our mobile app makes it easier than ever to report a crime and get important safety alerts. and follow reported crimes in your neighborhood, all in one convenient location in the palm of your hands. Download LCSO Connect right now. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play by searching LCSO Connect. You can more details about the features of the app on our website, leoncountyso.com.
Welcome back to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. Sheriff, our host unit, I hear rave reviews from them out in the community, and they know so much of our homeless population out there by name. They really are committed to the work.
They are absolutely committed. You know, we've had a number of calls from commissioners and that sort of thing about Highway 20. Highway 20 has become that place where we're trying to make sure that everybody understands that if you're out there homeless, we're there to help you if you need that help. And I can't tell you how impressed I am with our homeless outreach unit. In fact, I was just out there yesterday, drove through the neighborhood, talked to a number of people out there. They've cleaned up Highway 20. Yes. I mean, the homeless people are, they're organized now. They're still homeless people, right? But they're organized and they understand who we are and what we're trying to do. They don't see us as the enemy, they see us as help. And the neighborhood out there, they're engaged as well. And the biggest thing we try to do, as you know, Shonda, is to engage the community in our efforts. And Highway 20, I think, is a shining example. Now, it's not going to always stay that way because people come and go. But right now, it's a shining example of what can happen when community, law enforcement, and our county commission comes together. And it's made a big difference out there.
It has indeed. And then the work at our detention facility, you can really tell Andy's passion when it comes to helping those individuals.
You know, that was a tough thing for me to go out and try to find someone who would have the passion and the understanding of what's going on in our institution. I never thought it'd be a law enforcement retiree, but Andy has stepped right in, is doing a tremendous job working on all those things. And I'm hopeful, again, it has sustainability. Yes. And it needs that to have that stability for the inmates and for the community. If we're getting jobs for folks that come to us, and we can get them back in the community, we're all winning. We got a business now that has a person who is on their staff, who's committed to doing that job, and at the same time, he or she's not back in our institution. It's a win-win. It
is a win-win out there. So we appreciate all the work that they do. Another example of being all in.
Absolutely. All in.
All in indeed. We want to thank you all for joining us for another episode of Leon County Today. We'll see you back here next week.